Can I talk yet? Hello, my name is Mandolin Royal, and today I'm sitting inside of a chicken tractor to make some choices. We have another processing day coming up, and breeding selection is a lot easier when you have a smaller group to work with. So these 4 have been camped down here for about 5-6 weeks or so because their peers are already in the freezer. I thinned them out so that I could get down to who actually was the best of their hatch group. So I started out with like 30 chicks, and there was like 15 that were male, and now I'm here with 4. With an eyeball on who's sticking around for next breeding season, and I'm making a little list of what the females would have to have if I used any of these males, while also evaluating which ones I don't need to keep after this point. Because we are hungry. And that's the whole point of me being dual purpose. We get our eggs, we get our meat, and we get a whole new flock every time I plug those incubators in. And I love owning the entire process of that. So let me tell you what I'm seeing, what they're showing me, and some other notes. So all 4 of these guys are down here because they were the best growers and they were the best examples for their breed type several weeks ago. These are American Bresse, and they're a pure breed that you can hatch on your own. And you can eat pretty well from these guys if they have good growth rate, if they have good structure, if someone paid attention to the meat to bone ratio and the fat marbling traits and all that other stuff. Because no matter what breed of chicken you pick, there's little things about them that they should be. And it's the job of the breeder to have all of that stuff rolled into the birds. However, no one has the perfect flock. No one has yet bred the absolute perfect chicken. And it's there's so many parts and pieces. I'm going to try to find the words for this and how I do this. There's a lot to consider, and there's a lot that's important. So step 1 of breeding selection: who grew the best? Who has the most vigor? Who's the healthiest? Who can get out there and be a really good chicken without hiccups, without hang-ups, and without problems? So these guys already got through about 20 weeks of growth, and they've already showed me a lot about themselves. And even now at this point, there's some more that I need to wait for before I really finalize choices, because you can't make all of your selections in one day. And if you do, you might have some future hang-ups you're not even aware of that are going to happen, but it might be in your future. So based on my experience and based on what I think I know, I think I can confidently take these 4 down to 2. And I think I know who. And I think I know why. So I look at health and vigor first and foremost. You're not going to get far if your flock is weak and pathetic. These guys have never needed medicated anything. They have never needed special care. Every single one of them is super clean in their butt feathers. They're the picture of health with no extra work from me. So that's cool. They were the biggest, meatiest, best growing birds out of who they hatched with. But now that I'm getting in here and seeing them at this almost, 22 weeks? I'll have to check my calendar. But I'm looking deeper than the core basic traits. This guy in the front here, he's in charge. He runs the show. He's up on this roost because the weakest link got on that roost. And he's positioning himself for my favor so that I know this, because I'm an interloper here. I'm a guest. They've all gotten pretty close to me as I just sit here and watch and observe. They're not worried about my presence, which is always appreciated because I love seeing the natural way that they are. I don't want them clustered up in the corner hiding from me because they're terrified. I want to see the real deal, what they're showing me. So this guy is the subordinate guy. He's leaner, I can already tell, and how he's put together and how his chest isn't that well filled in compared to the other three. And he's got some comb damage that suggests he's been the weakest one of the four. I also noticed one of his wings is showing slip wing, but they are regrowing a lot of new feathers. And I don't recall seeing it in any of these guys when I put them down here several weeks ago. But today he's showing it. And that would be a deal breaker. Slip wing is something that can get completely out of control if you let it. So it's a hard call for me. I'm not trying to fool with it forever. When I see it, it goes. And then I've incrementally seen a lot of increases in how many birds don't get it because I was doing that. Now, these two, because they're down here, it'll be easier to explain a little more about them. We'll see if the other two come down. This one as well is showing slip wing and how sloppy his wing is versus how neat and tidy the wing on this one is. See the difference in the wings? That's what you want. That's what you don't want. He's also dingier in color. I bet he's going to yellow out pretty bad in the future. I don't like the way his back transitions to his tail. It's too high up. And it's too sharp. It's too abrupt. Versus this guy. Nice and smooth. That's a nice transition. This guy also is a little less in the chest. This one's a lot fuller. This one's a lot wider. This one's more compact, but still bulky. And the blue feet and the white earlobes. You know, the breed stuff for the American Bresse. Between these two, that's the superior bird. All around, better. Not as dingy, not as sloppy. Slightly better comb. But his worst fault that you can't see from here, the tips of his toes are pink. That's annoying. Mr. Dominant here, he has conjoined comb spikes. Hey. Show me. Yeah. That comb is gross. Right there in the front. There wants to be another spike. And spikes should never share the same base. That is incorrect for all single comb birds. Doesn't matter the breed. That's true for all of them. So I definitely want to get that out of the flock. But he's the most superior bird in this pen. So I'll have to look to the females when I make my pullet choices for him and make sure not a single one of them show that. Because when you're breeding and you're setting up your pens, you want them to share as many good points as possible. Correctly so. If a bird has a fault to it, the other gender cannot share that fault because all you're going to do is double down on that. Don't double down on problems. Don't double down on weak points. At least one bird within a pair needs to be correct in every single little detail about that bird if you want to call yourself a breeder. Because otherwise, all you're doing is propagating. Otherwise, you're just hatching eggs. If you're not paying attention to the details and working towards better birds, are you even breeding? Or are you just hatching eggs? So, I want to call myself a breeder. And so, I'm going to nerd out, pay attention to chest depth, leg color, shape of the head, earlobe color. I like how stout his beak is. There's another guy in a different pen I like a lot, but his beak is like long and narrow, and I don't like that. So that's totally going to influence my choice of the females that would go with these guys. I think he's pretty well balanced when you look at his angles and proportions. I like how his back transitions into the tail. I can kind of envision the tail that needs to grow in here. He's going to be worth another look once he's feathered in better. I like him a lot. This one he was going to go try to pick on. That's the weakest link in this whole tractor. So, pretty sure I don't need that one. Are you going to show me your pink toes? No. In between these two, that's the better bird. So there, 4 birds down to 2 birds. That one stays, that one goes, that one goes, this one stays. So long as I have the right females for them to work them a little bit better next season. I'll find out when I go through the girl pen. But by being here and doing this, this gives me my list of what the females need to have and which male I should consider for them. Which is going to tell me which pen they should go into and who's going to end up where over winter. And I do this every year, all the time, when I'm rolling over my flock to refill with the next generation. Keep them moving forward. Keep them getting better. Now these other birds, those are the Chanticleer that are growing out. They're 15 weeks old. It's at least 6 weeks difference between these fellas and the Chanticleer. And the growth rate on the Chanticleer is so much slower. I might leave them down here all winter before I make any decisions on them. I don't know. I think there's about 6 of 8 males I'm pretty confident I won't need. But we'll see. I'll have to do them on a different day. I have a lot of the American Bresse to get through. But I like coming down here and hanging out and making choices. Pen by pen, group by group. So this is the number 3, number 2, number 1, number 4. He didn't even get the white earlobes that well. Alright, back to work. I made the decision I came down here to make. Some more on this later. Feel free to like and subscribe. There's a lot to it, as it turns out.